Hello, guys. It is me, Danielle J. Mitchell, your up and coming queen of real estate. And I am here for today's and this week's Tuesday Tip and Tip. So, on this week, we're going to be talking about market value versus assessed value. The difference between the two, they are two different things, okay? So I'm gonna start with assessed value because I'm not going to stay on that too long. So I'm gonna start there. Assessed value, an assessed value is the dollar value assigned to a property to measure applicable taxes. Okay, assessed valuation determines the value of a residence for tax purposes and takes comparable home sales and inspections into consideration. Another definition, and this is Google, guys. Another definition is after determining the market value of a property, the assessed value will arrive, and this is more technical, will be arrived by taking its actual value, multiplying it by an assessment rate, right? And an assessment rate is pretty much based on the area, based on the municipality, okay? And so they take that property value, and so they give an example. So say a property value is 500,000 and the assessment rate is 8%. The assessed value would be 40%. Okay. So essentially an assessed value is based on your local municipality. Okay. And again, they're taking the market value of a home and using that assessed value rate and coming up with an assessment. It's just purely for tax purposes, okay? So as we know, depending on what county you're in, but depending on what city you're in, there are different tax rates and amounts, okay? Depending on what neighborhood you're in, okay? So that's one piece of the pie puzzle. So assessed value is, again, has everything to do with your municipality and how they determine the real estate taxes. Okay. Market value. Let's get into this. Okay. So your market value, when we're talking about fair market value for your home or market value, it's pretty much saying, okay, so based on the real estate market, not, national market has very little bearing to do with it, but it really has to do with your local market. A lot of times, the country can be in a seller's market, right? But most times it's based on the local area, and not even state. It really has to do with that particular city, that particular county, that particular township. Okay. And so, as I've been saying for some time now, we are currently in a seller's market. What does that mean? It means that there are more buyers than there are inventory. Okay. So what that causes the market to do? It causes the market to people's property value to go a little bit higher because you have competition. You have more competition. Now, in a buyer's market, that means that you have more inventories than you do buyers. And that typically causes the market to either be steady or to dip some, depending on how much inventory that you have. Okay. So I want to make that abundantly clear. So, what are the things that really, as a real estate professional, if I'm going to list your house, I'm going to use what is called, a comparative market analysis. So this is how I will determine the fair market value for your house. So that value is not one particular number. So it's not like I'm gonna be like, your house is worth exactly $229.90, $229,000 and $999. Like it's not that at all. Okay, so it's really a range, right? So a lot of times it'll be, hey, on the low end, your house is worth 200,000. Your house is worth 200,000, and on the high end, your house is worth 220 or 225. And you have that range. And so that's at that point, you kind of make the decision. Okay, well, on the low end, okay, might be typically a home that's not in the best condition. um it could be the price if it's run down, right? If it's just a shell or needs a lot of updating, there is a value for it maybe somewhere in the middle. If it's like in fair condition, move inable, like a family could move in, maybe make some updates over time. And then of course on the high end, you want to have, this is brand spanking new, either new construction or one of those renovated, rehabbed homes taken down to the studs and completely overhauled. Okay, so typically you're looking, me as your realtor will give you a range based on, hey, for houses, this is the bottom end. And of course, you're, based on the bottom end, the middle, and the high end, your home comes in based on I don't know the condition, right? So I would learn the condition after, going ahead and taking a tour of the home. I will get a sense of the condition of your home and say, well, based on the comps, you can probably put your house on the market at this. If it's completely rehab, hey, let's get it close to that high end number. Okay. If it's like in good condition, nice, maybe more mid range. So it really just, depends on the condition of the home. And you really want to get to when we're talking about a fair market value, you really don't want to try to shoot numbers up. You really don't want to be driven by, oh, I owe, well, I need this money because I gotta pay for the next house, or I gotta pay down debt, or something like that. You really have to come from the standpoint of, I can get the fair market value, the most for my buck, with the condition that is in and with what the market is doing now. Now, again, if you are selling, I'll reiterate that it is a seller's market. So likely if you hit your right on target to what the value of your home is, you'll likely get above asking, especially if it's in good condition to completely pristine condition. So, so pretty much, you just want to hit on target to the fair market value. All right. So yeah, so pretty much, I do want to add that market value is based on external characteristics. Sometimes you have to do comps based on, sometimes it can be hard to do comps based on depending on the area that you're in, right? You may be living in the area of the city where 2 blocks over, there's gentrification and houses selling for $400,000. But where you are, it could be that it's only going for $100,000. So sometimes in situations like that, it can get a bit rough on the main line when you're living in an area where there are $1 million homes to $300,000 homes in the same 4 block radius. Sometimes in those moments, it can get a little tricky. But a lot of times, instead of, be in this radius of where your home is, you might have to go out a bit, expand that a little bit more in order to get a good average and a good understanding of, okay, what makes sense. So external care, and also I do want to add that sometimes you'll get homes where it's like, okay, this is not the exact comp, right? But it is very similar. So we want to stay in that, $10 to $15,000 range and make sure we know it makes sense. So you're looking at external characteristics, internal characteristics, comps, comparables, pretty much other homes that sold in the area. Your home may be able to go at 350 because it has AC, as opposed to someone else's home who could go at a little bit under that, maybe at 320, 320, or yeah, 320, 325, or something like that. Again, we talked about supply and demand, and we talked about location is based on the neighborhood. Okay. So now, if you would like a CMA, here's where I do my shameless plug. If you would like to get a CMA done, if you're an investor, if you are trying to get into your second home, third home, of course, we can have the conversation. We can talk about what the numbers would look like for your particular property. And you can go to there. You can go to bit.ly/DJM console, bit.ly/DJM console, and we can have the conversation about, what it would look like for your home to get on the market. My information has been scrolling down there as well for you to get in contact with me. And that's it for today's and this week's Tuesday tip at 2. I hope it was helpful. Please subscribe. Please share. If you are able, I know you are, because it takes one click. You can do it. So please subscribe, and share. And remember, there's no place like home. There's no place like home buying, and no place like home selling. Until next time, enjoy the weather. Talk to you soon. Bye bye.